Welcome into this Thursday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal, McCready, Clark Florida studio. Here, the first of two shows today. We'll have hand raise guys tonight around 7 o'clock for that. And then you'll get our recruiting feel of us at some point this week, too. I don't know when it's being posted, but we'll do a soft verbal answers to recruiting questions. Also on the MPW Digital Network. So I hope all of you are having a lovely morning. It's kind of rainy and dreary and messy here in the Oxford area this morning. It's Neal's kind of weather as we get closer to Ole Miss at Vanderbilt Saturday night from Vaught Hemingway Stadium. Ole Miss trying to go undefeated at home for the first time since 1992, I believe.
That's crazy.
Is the number on that.
That's wild.
Technically the first ever 7-0 season at home, but they haven't been playing 12 games in regular season since 2006, so that is within context for several different things there, including, frankly, the 10-win season, because prior to this it required 10-1, not 10-2. I mean, that is a...
But a win over Vanderbilt makes them 7-0 at home.
That is correct, yes.
Wow.
That is correct.
That is wild.
First time ever, yeah. So there's that. So anyway, we'll get into some coaching stuff. Neal lit the board on fire last night. I'm sure he's been taken out of context all over the internet since then.
Can you even imagine?
Who knows what is all over the place on that one.
I've already gotten some messages from people that you said what, and it's like, no.
Well, yeah, you'll get the text go, hey, so Neal said this, and it's like 8 words. It's like, okay, well, there's some context missing on 8 words of what was said.
Yeah.
So go there, go to rebelgrove.com, because we're probably not going to go straight verbatim. Ole Miss basketball plays tonight at 6 o'clock. They play the Marquette Eagles.
Marquette's 3-0.
Coming off a win over number 10 Illinois, too, 67-66, 1-point win over the Illini there in that one.
So that's going to make the show tonight sort of
kind of weird.
Really weird. Because the game tonight's on, is it on ESPNU?
I have no idea.
I've put it up somewhere. I'll have to go look.
Okay. And then there'll be an NFL game on, too. But it's a bad game.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and then there's whatever.
Yeah, so we'll hit some of those different things. Podcast brought to you every single day by the Oxford Exxon, Highway 6 West in Oxford. Remember to go get your selfies done and give another football helmet away this week. When you take a selfie around the Oxford Exxon, the Blue Sky location, you'll be automatically entered into a chance to win. Tag Oxford Exxon, hashtag Blue Sky Rebels, and you can win an official Ole Miss football helmet. I think it was Navy, the one they gave away last week. Remember Speed Pass Plus app. Lunch special, $5.69 when you're coming into town. Use the app, earn points, save money. And again, coming to you from the Clark Florida studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900's that number. Call it, ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. It's right to the bottom line. There's no hassle, no haggle. You get your quote. The rest is up to you. You can shop it around. You can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do, and that's hop into a Clark Ford today, 662-257-1900. Guests will join us at some point on the Rafters Music and Food Hotline. This is a weird week for guests. There was really no reason to get like Vanderbilt guests. They're just, what are they going to say?
Because when you talk to Chris, Chris is a really good podcaster, but it's the point of, they suck. They're going to keep sucking. They don't spend money.
Yeah.
Baseball's going to be good. Okay, good. Thanks. Awesome.
Pete and I taped last night on the Rafters Music and Food Hotline. And
did y'all skip ahead to state? Or did y'all focus 1 week at a time?
We stayed 1 week at a time, but we didn't. Normally that's a 1 hour and 15-minute segment. It was 48 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, we kept it tight because we're going to turn around and do Mississippi State on Monday night.
Okay.
It might make – I don't know how I'm going to do that show next week. Going to figure it out. But anyway. But no, we didn't skip ahead to state. Because he was actually working to get some state film.
Okay.
So, anyway. Rafters Music and Food on the Square in Oxford. Great place for coming up this weekend. Even if you're doing the Grove thing all day long on Saturday, still be a fun place to go grab a burger, grab a po' boy, appetizers, a full bar, great beer selection, everything you could be looking for there at Rafters Music and Food on the Square in Oxford and Rafters in New Albany as well.
Going to get to the obviously topic du jour, but top of the thread here, Hardiman says, another thing that grinds my gears, YouTube ads. Sorry, we pay bills. We should try to limit it. I will go in on some videos and try to help you guys out with that a little bit. But it's adding to a thread on the board about things that annoy people, and I really got a good laugh this morning. There's a lot of stuff in there, and there's a lot of truths involved.
Yeah.
It's a spirited, fun community, but we can be a bit crotchety. We can be a little persnickety over a lot of issues out there. If you just got to pick one, though, what's the one? What is top of the list things that annoy you?
More and more,
Sure.
the person driving with their phone like this on the wheel, right in front of them.
Literally holding the phone at the 10 and 2.
Holding the phone right there, and they're like this. And they're not even looking at the road. And their car starts drifting over, like you're on the left or you're on the right or whichever. They're drifting into you, and you have to honk your horn to get their attention, and then they glare at you. You're like, dude, I just saved you. I just stopped you from having an accident that would have been your fault, that could have resulted in you being hurt, and you're mad at me for honking my horn. Get off your phone.
I have two. One that's in perpetuity and one that has become a new phenomenon as far as I'm realizing it, and it's bothering me more and more. So, and this was mentioned in the thread, and it was your mention, because we both had this happen. The dog that attacks the runner or the jogger, but for multiple reasons. You're completely zoned out. You're not paying attention, and it feels like Cujo has come up on you, no matter if it's a Pomeranian, as it's going on. But two, it's not even the dog that's the worst part. It's the owner. Yeah. Because the owner is like, oh, precious, come here, and acts like you're the asshole when you kick at his dog.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm minding my own business.
Yeah.
I'm in a public street. I'm just moving.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't mean... No. Literally, my compression sock is ripped from your stupid dog. It's a problem.
Yeah, it's on you. And when you're like, hey, you need to do something about your dog. Oh, you're the jerk for daring to go run in the neighborhood. It's like, no, bitch, it's your dog.
And then the other one, has this always been the case? I don't remember when I was in school, and I'm not necessarily criticizing any individual person because it's across the board everywhere. What is it with, we get so much time off, whether it be work or kids in school, but you need a little extra time too? Like, I got an email yesterday that Carly Ann is out half a day on Friday to start Thanksgiving break, and then is out all next week. We used to get 3 days. We might not even get the full Wednesday. We'd get like the half day Wednesday, and we'd be out on Thursday and half on and out on Friday. Now we get a full week, and we got to take the extra half day off.
Yes, you got to function. You got to build that into your day. Like, do I get that portion of the day of daycare returned, refunded to my account? How does this work?
Well, and then I notice it just with people in general. Like, you'll get a 3-day weekend, and it's like some people you talk to will be like, well, okay, I'm going to leave at noon on Thursday. It's like you're already getting 3 days. Is that not enough? Like, I don't know. I'm going to be a really persnickety curmudgeon of like a 75-year-old man because I'm already annoyed by like the dumbing down of society in general at 37. Yes. That it's only going to get worse. It absolutely is only going to get worse as I go. So I'm just... Will says they're out for the Rittenhouse verdict.
What's that?
I don't know. I'm just...
There's a verdict? They weren't.
They're not even meeting tonight. No, you mean they're just in deliberations, I'm assuming. Yeah.
Yeah. Day 3 of that makes you feel like that.
Starting to wonder.
That Jack Posobiec person on Twitter, that dude never misses. I mean, he's always right. And so when he said it was 10-2 with 2 holdouts who were concerned about what happens to them if they come back with an acquittal, and that his source was a U.S. Marshal, I buy it.
Oh, Philip says the next close one is large group dinners. What is it you hate about them? That you're not dealing with everybody, or that there's just too much going on? What's the issue with the large group dinner? I don't necessarily mind that.
That's kind of your thing.
Yeah, I like that. I'm good there. Well, no, it can be too big though, because you can get to the point where if you're at a really large dinner, you're worried about, okay, like, where am I sitting for strategy purposes? Like, because I only can talk to, like, 4. So I don't want to get stuck with those 4 people. Yeah, I got to make sure I'm here. Like,
and those can be long dinners where you're
there like 2.5, 3 hours, and you're there. So, yeah, I mean, it's. I don't do the hibachi thing. He says sitting hibachi side in a large group is awful. I don't. I'm weird. I don't want to let the show in front of me. Even if I eat the hibachi, I'd rather go to the sushi side and just sit like a normal restaurant and you bring me the food. There's something about the whole, hey, here, catch the volcano. I'm like, no, just feed me. I know it makes me a jerk, but I'm like, no, just stop. Like I don't.
Well, it's fun.
I don't need the shrimp in your pocket. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm good.
The little kids are funny.
Well, sure.
Yeah, but that's about it.
But like a group of adults going, hey, let's go eat the hibachi. I'm like, no, I don't need the show. I've seen.
I don't even think it's very good. Like it's okay. It's fine.
Okay, see that part, Phillips, it takes incredibly too long of a process. You have to wait for the food. Yeah, no choo-choo train. I'm good. Let's just move on. It's all fine. Optimal dinner size is like 6 to 8. Anything above that, and we're getting a little too large at that point, I think. So anyway, okay, there are my grievances for the day.
Yeah, I think I tend to agree with Will here.
Yeah,
and we'll get off this topic. I promise. He goes, but I've been obsessed with it. I've watched this whole trial, and this is the second trial this year that I've been glued into. I watched all of the Chauvin trial, and I've watched all of the Rittenhouse trial.
Mm-hmm.
Will Burns says, I think the jurors want to acquit but don't want to be put in danger. The judge wants to declare a mistrial, acquit, but doesn't want any more danger. So we're seeing who blinks first. I was watching on, it's Rakita Law.
I saw some of this, yeah.
And it's a group of, it's really interesting. It's a group of attorneys. People always ask me, if you could do over life, what would you do? I would be a trial attorney. I would be fascinated by it. I was watching them, and they were saying that it's a real conflict between First Amendment rights and then protecting the jurors.
Mm-hmm.
Because these people, the protesters, have gotten on the steps of the courthouse, and the people who are familiar with that courthouse in Wisconsin have said that there's no way the jury doesn't hear what they're saying. They absolutely hear it.
Well, sure.
If they don't see it, they hear it. And they're like, probably should move them down the street far enough where they can't hear them. But you still allow them to congregate and to protest or whatever, but that it's kind of complicated. And every single one of them, including a couple of attorneys who I think are less inclined to acquit Rittenhouse than others, have said there's no way a conviction holds up in appellate court, that there are so many different grounds for appeal. And they said the judge knows it, and they basically agree with what Will said, that the judge appears to want to give Rittenhouse a bite at the acquittal apple, where it just goes away, but that if they come back with hung on everything, that he's just going to dismiss it. And basically dismiss it in a manner that the state would be less inclined to bring it back.
Right. That's a good one, Ginger. I'm annoyed by people who stand up as soon as the plane lands. Even worse for the people who start walking to the front. I mean, where are you going?
Yeah, I don't mind the guy who stands up because it's just he's stretching his legs.
Yeah, sure.
But if you get up and grab your bag and go racing to the front, no, that's not how this works. That there's a way that we do things, and this is not that way.
Well, and if you're in the front, or if you're in a spot where it's not your turn and you stand up, you're just in the way. You're actually slowing the process down.
Yes, of course.
Or even worse, I'm like I'm almost always on the window because I'm really particular about that. I need a window seat. But if I'm in the middle or the aisle and the people to my left or right, deeper in, get up and are trying to lean over me because they feel like it's time, literally, where are you going?
Yeah.
I am still sitting here. Until I move, you're out. There's nothing you can do.
That's the good thing about masks and stuff, is that I might never fly again. I might never have to deal with that ever again.
I told you, I flew to Dallas whenever that was, and I got there and I went, my God, it was a zoo for 3 hours there. I have no interest. Yeah, it was. The airplane clappers. Did you expect us? I haven't run into that as much as a lot of people talk about that. I know that happens and there's an anxiety to it, but it doesn't. I've not noticed that as much.
No.
That when they land, the people clap because they made it.
Why?
I mean,
because you made it.
Yeah, because at no point was I literally concerned.
Do you do that when you get on the interstate, when you get off, and
because that's much less safe.
Stop at Love's and go, woo, we made it. Come on.
I trust that guy to take me where we're going. It's all good.
All right, what do you want to start with?
Well, I was more just kind of killing the rest of the segment, so we're not stopping in 2 minutes, and then it breaks up the deal. Real quick, we'll just hit this. as I said a minute ago, Ole Miss Marquette, 6 o'clock tonight. Marquette has wins over SIU, Edwardsville, New Hampshire, and Illinois. They actually played 3 relatively close games, even against the lesser opponents. They won 88-77, 75-70, and then again beat number 10 Illinois 67-66. Looks like that was actually at home, best I can tell. Was that at Marquette?
I don't know.
Do you know?
I don't know.
Let me get a line to you real quick, too. I was going to do that earlier.
I have spent all of I guess I did go cover a game. I haven't spent much time on college basketball yet. We've been busy.
Been some other things.
It's football, and I've been obviously trying to help with recruiting.
This one's interesting. I would not have anticipated this. Ole Miss -4.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Ole Miss favored by 4 right now in this one. OddsShark has Ole Miss winning 67-66.
Oh.
So over-under on this one is 136. So 68, 67-ish. Just shy of 70 for both teams, something like that. So yeah, that's where it's.
I could have sworn I put up the basketball thing yesterday, but I'm not sure I pinned it.
The what?
I put up the basketball release, but I'm not sure I pinned it.
Oh, okay.
It was a day.
Okay. We'll get into some football stuff in a second. First, two about community mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Soto County, and Chattanooga. All underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. So you're getting local underwriting and understand your market, leader in condo financing, the float down option, and more. You can find Jason at 662-234-2704 or JLOWE@communitymtg.com.
I spent a good bit of yesterday getting started on the MPW Digital pregame show. We'll have that to you later today. I actually talked to Jeffrey, Ben, and Pete yesterday for those interviews. Talked to Ryan Brown early this afternoon and then bring that to you. It's brought to you by Walk-On Sports Bistro. They put everything they've got into bringing you game day with the taste of Louisiana. Dig into their mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine like po' boys, gumbo, voodoo shrimp, plus fan favorites like juicy burgers, fresh salads, quality fresh ingredients you can't help but crave. Coming soon to Oxford, 1737B University Avenue. And they're already in the Jackson area, 720 Highland Colony Parkway in Ridgeland. Fantastic place to go, hang out. Make sure that you tell them you appreciate them sponsoring our show. We're also brought to you by BroThrow. It's a social sports betting network, free to use. I was introduced to BroThrow earlier this fall. It's a really cool, fun way to bet. No third party, no juice. Over time, that saves you money. You can start your own group, make friends, and invite friends. Payment happens within 24 hours of the conclusion of your bet. You can take the other side of an existing bet, start a new bet, and more. bet.brothrow.com/MPW. Brought to you by Muddy Water Camo. Go to muddywatoroutdoors.com. Enter the promo code Rebel Grove. Get 35% off on any products from the site. Free shipping on $100 or more at muddywatoroutdoors.com. Also brought to you by Game Changer Patch. Go to Game Changer. It's the only two-patch system available in the market to stop hangovers before they start. The warm-up patch is used before or while you drink. The overtime patch is used after you've been drinking to recover while you sleep. The all-natural ingredients will keep you in the game and ready for the next play. Go to GameChangerPatch.com. Enter the promo code RebelGrove20 at checkout for 20% off your purchase. And we're brought to you by ACS, Automation and Control Systems, LLC. If you're in need of custom HMI and SCADA solutions or large horsepower VFD specialist, ACS has you covered. They can service and install Rockwell Automation, Allen Bradley, Siemens, ABB, Square D, and many other manufacturers. Go to ACSLLCMS.com or call 662-601-4381. And we're brought to you by Pinpoint Commercial Real Estate based out of Jackson. Pinpoint is they service the entire state in all commercial and asset classes such as retail, office, industrial, and land. This week's property spotlights Paragon Center in Ridgeland. It's 150,000 square feet of Class A office space located on Highland Colony Parkway. This is an area that is experiencing substantial commercial growth. It's located alongside some of the most affluent neighborhoods in Mississippi. If you'd like to learn more about this great opportunity to house your professional office, call Sam Cox and BB Mitchell at 601-586-3220.
Podcast is brought to you by Nick's Tan & Associates. That's nickstanoxford.com, 662-281-4600. Let them help you out on either side of the buy or sell process here in Oxford for real estate in Lafayette County. O'Keefe, Graham, Clay, DeWeese, and their team of associates will take you from start to finish to get the house you desire here in this area. They sponsor my 321 football content item every single week, and click the link in that and click the link in my message board signature. I've used it multiple times. Give them a shot as well. Again, that's nickstanoxford.com, 662-281-1200. Kind of relevant to this next discussion a second ago. Did you see yesterday the Mel Tucker salary increases that he has had over the last 6-7 years?
No, but I'm going to guess that he's done some jumping.
So he started in 2015 with Alabama, that staff that we talked about potentially being the best of all time. $500,000.
Okay.
$850 at Georgia in 16.
Mm-hmm.
$900 at Georgia in 17.
Just a little cost of
Very
living
modest,
bump right there.
I mean, that's just inflation.
Mm-hmm.
18 at Georgia, 1.5. 19 at Colorado, 2.4. 20 and 20, Michigan State, 5.1.
Mm-hmm.
2021, Michigan State, 5.1. 2022, 9.5.
Now, has he signed it yet?
It is only a term that's been agreed upon, to the best of my knowledge at this point. And I think Mel Tucker's a good coach. I do. I think he's done a hell of a job. I think they've been very, very good. I think they've been a little lucky. I think it's been whatever. I mean, I had a buddy yesterday after I was talking about that with him and said that Michigan State better hope he commits a felony in 2 years when they're 5-7. And there is a part of me that wonders if that one feels a little too strong for what you're going to get year over year over year. Because the price of poker is not that yet.
No.
I mean, that's making him potentially the highest paid coach in the country right now.
Look.
I mean,
and I've been guilty of this. I have fallen for this before. I've been used. I'm not a national guy, okay? And so the agents have national guys that they can manipulate a little, or sometimes a lot.
Yeah, sure.
And people hate it. I don't know why. If you were a coach, you would want an agent doing this for you, right?
Well, people hate it because it creates bad information, is why they hate it.
But if you were a coach...
Well, yeah, sure, no, but there's a difference. I can hate it while also understanding it.
Okay, because there's some people that just vilify the hell out of good agents, and good agents do their jobs. I think LSU's interest in Tucker was and is genuine. I don't think he was or is their top choice. But I think the fact that the interest was genuine and there were people at LSU, this was the critical part. When people go, there's nothing to it. You guys just made it up. Nope. The president there, if he got to make that decision by himself in a vacuum, I think Mel Tucker would get the LSU job. Okay? I do.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, the guy that came in from South Carolina.
Well, that's significant because he's the president.
Yeah, sure.
Okay? So when you have that level of leverage, you use it. And Michigan State does not want Mel Tucker to leave. And so for them, the cost of poker increased rapidly because of the potential overture from LSU, which was a real thing and could still be a real thing. I was told that last night. Tucker's still on their list. He's just not the top of their list. There's all sorts of stuff, and I know Feldman came down and shot down the Lincoln Riley rumor, and I'm not going to pretend to be more sourced than Bruce Feldman. But I'll tell you this, multiple people last night told me that is not over. Saying you're going to turn down an absolute ton of money and turning down...
Yeah, it's not actually on the...
Those are two different animals.
So leading that in, made a post last night. I'll let you take it. What do you want to say? Not say on the podcast form, obviously.
Yeah.
Go read the stuff at rebelgrove.com.
The stuff's at rebelgrove.com.
You probably actually need to read it before you listen, if you're being completely honest.
So I have a couple of people who I've stayed in contact with over the course of the fall who I've said, hey, look, if this ever gets remotely real, holler.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? One of them hollered last night. hey, I told you I'd let you know if something kind of got where it could get real, and it's kind of real.
Sure.
So, okay. Miami is very likely to move on from Manny Diaz.
Which tea leaves have been pointing there for several days.
It's not done, and I'm told that decision's not made. And again, I'm not sourced at Miami, okay? I don't know. I don't talk to anyone at Miami. I'm not sure who the hell I would talk to in Miami. The people that I know in the Miami media cover pro sports, okay? I'll probably reach out to them to get a little bit of help to see if maybe they've heard something just by being around. But they cover the NFL, they cover the NBA, they're not covering the U of M. So I was told, hey, you got to watch Miami. They've got a really short list. Now, I've heard that elsewhere. Their list is Mario Cristobal, Lane Kiffin. Now, that doesn't mean that you get either one of them, but that's their wish list. You know, when mom and dad come to you when you're a little kid and say, hey, what do you want for Christmas? I mean, if you're smart, you shoot for the stars, right?
Oh, sure, yeah.
I mean, you always ask for the brand new game system. Might not get it, but you ask. So that's their wish list. Cristobal's deal, Cristobal's a U of M alum. He likes that area. His buyout is problematic. It's at least $8 million and probably closer to $10 million is what I'm told. Okay. And Miami can't play that game. Kiffin's buyout is about half of that. And that's a problem.
Okay. Let me stop you here real quick. If the buyout is a problem at that number, that means a salary enough to be more than whatever Ole Miss would give is a problem.
Yeah, agreed. This is where when people go wild, I had someone go, why would you write that? Okay, here's why you write that, okay? I think you will agree with this wholeheartedly. Yeah. Most people in the thread may or may not, I don't know. Let's just say, hypothetically, that Lane Kiffin just wants to get out. Mm-hmm. Okay. Do I think that's the case? No, but I don't know Lane Kiffin. Do you know Lane Kiffin?
No.
Do you know anyone who can tell you emphatically, no, absolutely not. He's not leaving. No chance in hell. No way he goes to Miami. I don't care what they offer him. No way. He loves it here. He's in.
No.
You don't feel good writing that in blood, right?
No.
Okay. I don't either.
Just as much as I can't say, oh, God, he's leaving tomorrow.
Of course.
Yeah.
So when someone tells you, hey, look, this Miami thing's real, and then the key word was, and he's intrigued. Okay. At that point, you've got to at least put it out there from an establishing credibility standpoint, because if next Saturday, boom, it all goes down, and you never mentioned it, people would go, you guys suck. You're not plugged in. You don't know anybody. I mean, that's more than fair at that point.
So you put it out there in case chaos happens.
You put it out in case chaos happens. Now, the people who refuse to read everything and get the context out of it, I can't help that. I can't help stupid. Yeah. I can't make someone less stupid.
Yeah.
So all I can do is put it out there in the context, and in the context, the same people say, look, Ole Miss is preparing a massive offer. And if they make it happen, and I think
Miami can't beat that from a straight monetary standpoint.
Unless there's some big surprise, Miami can't beat that.
And if there's a big surprise, why the hell haven't they been doing it for the last 15 years?
Sure, it's
just all of a sudden they go, oh no, here's all the checks.
Yeah, and I doubt that.
Yeah,
but is Miami interested in Lane Kiffin? Yes. Does Lane like that area? He does a lot. I think all things being even, and you told Lane Kiffin you can live in South Florida on the water or you can live in Oxford, Mississippi. Where would you like to live? Forget jobs, forget money. All things even, I think he would pick South Florida.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay, so when people go, what, there's does that mean he hates Oxford? I have no idea. I don't know whether he hates it, likes it, loves it, despises it. I have no clue. Frankly, he's such a private person that I don't really think it matters.
I think he likes it a lot more than he did. I think he's fine.
Yeah.
That is my interpretation of talking to people who do know him.
I don't think he would refer to it as paradise, but I don't think he says it's the worst place on earth. So who cares?
He's not exactly a social butterfly. It really doesn't matter that much.
So anyway, I would
and they have these things called planes.
Yeah.
Where in the off season, go be wherever the hell you want to go.
Yeah, he's not going to spend the off season in Oxford anyway.
And he shouldn't. Who cares?
No, of course. So that's what I was told. And you have to write that. Because that means there's a chance. And if there's a chance and you don't write it and then it happens, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Because it's going to start popping up. And what I was kind of trying to do, and I said it at the end, is look, it might get a little heartburny for a week or so. When the Miami Herald comes out with the day that they fire Diaz, when the Miami Herald comes out with here's the names to look for, and there's a great big picture of Lane Kiffin on the front, okay, it's going to freak some people out. I'm kind of getting ahead of it, really, I didn't tweet that out last night.
Yeah.
People are always like, you're just looking for clicks. If I were looking for clicks, it would be all the hell over Twitter.
That could have pasted on the front page and pictures.
There's nothing. I just put it on the message board for subscribers. Like, hey,
we
look.
could have put Lane holding an ibis up on the front page.
It's a thought. Can you Photoshop that?
There was a day.
But yeah, no, I just put it in. Hey, it's on the board. You're a subscriber. This is what you pay for. Here it is.
And again, I think Ole Miss is about to pay the man maybe close to $7 million a year.
Yeah.
And
I don't know numbers.
Yeah, but a lot.
From hints that were told to me, I think it's
a top 10 salary nationally.
Yeah, I think it's 7 with the ability to get up to close to 8.
And
there aren't many places that can beat that. Now, Kiffin is smart not to sit down right now and bang out a deal.
Well, no, you don't want to do that.
Unless you can get a Mel Tucker deal. Because what you don't know, let's just play this game for a minute, okay? Let's just say
$7 million would give you the 9th highest salary in the country today.
Yeah, let's just say that the rumors are true, that LSU just goes all in. Here's all the chips. Here's all the checks. Lincoln Riley, Jimbo Fisher, $12.5 million a year. Because that's the rumor. And it's out there with a lot of people. Let's say they do that. Well, if you're Lane Kiffin, at that point you're like, hey, so wait a minute. I just went 10-2. I just took you to the best season you've ever had, and we went to a New Year's Six bowl. And
might finish ahead of Mel Tucker and the Spartans.
Yeah, in my second year, he's getting 12. Don't you think I'm worth at least 8.5? That's going to be the game. You let the market reset. You don't go in under the market.
Because it's the biggest market reset in a dozen years.
What happens in all sports, right? Freddie Freeman with the Braves. When the Braves call, Freddie Freeman's like, so did you see what Goldschmidt got over there in St. Louis? God, I just won a World Series. Yeah. I'm the face of your franchise. He's not. So I'd like to get that money.
Yeah.
And the Braves have to go back and go, well, shit, not really what we budgeted, but
and look at the fan base and go, oh.
Yeah, so it's that. It's all a game. And if you talk to coaches, they'll all tell you this, that the fuse is shorter than it's ever been. Like 2 bad seasons and you're done. So you get what you can while you can get it. You strike while hot.
What amazes me about it is that the buyouts have not lowered. Because to get that level of salary, that's you using your leverage.
Yes.
The school's leverage should be something in the buyout range. And that hasn't really been the case. The buyouts are not lowering for the most part.
Yeah, and that's where if I'm Ole Miss.
It's like, okay, now.
If I'm going to say, hey, okay, look, we can only give you a 4-year deal, which is a problem for the Mississippi schools.
Yeah.
It is. It's a problem. It absolutely is. You can put in some rollover clauses, but those are not legally binding.
It's just auto rollovers. You can't. The problem with the 4-year contract is not even on your side. It's that it's hard to then turn around and justify giving the coach some huge buyout because contractually he's only getting this.
Yeah.
So if you go, hey, Lane, we're paying you 24 over 4 years, but hey, if you leave, we want you to pay us 27. Well,
yeah, he's going to say, yeah.
That makes no sense.
Yeah.
Whereas if you give him a 10-year deal, suddenly, well, that's okay. For 50, you know what I mean? It starts being a whole different deal.
So I don't know where it all goes. This is why ADs have jobs. You got to get it right.
Yeah, and Grind's right. As soon as Kiffin signs a $7 million a year deal, expectations go up. Top 10 salaries, top 10 results. Sure.
There's no doubt.
Yeah.
There's no doubt.
At that point, it becomes more of a thing of, hey, this recruiting thing. Need to go
well,
here.
Yeah, we're going to do a show about recruiting, and anyone who says it's not an issue is absolutely burying your head in the sand. It's part of the conversation you have to have, and I do think it's the one thing that's out there a little bit that I told you yesterday. and I'm pretty good at it. Pretty good at sensing the direction of the wind. It's the only thing that makes me kind of get on alert. Because it's not just Miami. It's what does he think about where he is? Does he think they're going to take a big step back? Does he think, hey, I'm trying to decide whether they even go here or not. What the hell? Say there's a scenario where next summer you don't get Arch Manning. He commits to Georgia, to Texas, to Alabama. Okay? I don't know where he's going, say. And then you go 7-5. What's the mood? 7-5, and you're making top 10 money, and you're taking your team to the Music City Bowl, and Arch Manning signing with Georgia. What is the mood? And I think that's a concern. I don't think it. I kind of know it. It's a concern. So when that's the case, how do you?
And it's a little bit of. Here's what's so funny about that, is that in that hypothetical. And look, it's going to be hard for Ole Miss not to take a step back to some level.
Sure.
Look at the roster.
Sure.
You have to be logical about it.
Sure.
But Lane has a weird thing here, in a couple different ways. Is you want to avoid that year 3 step back for perception reasons. Lane's not a patient person, wants to win every year, doesn't want to do a rebuild, doesn't want to do a year off.
Yeah, he's not the guy that you bring in for a 6-year build.
Yeah, no thanks.
No, that's not his deal.
But point being, to avoid that, and look, it might just be the way you would do it anyway. But to avoid that, you do have to hit the portal hard. Because the only way to replace those dudes is with other dudes who are ready to play. And that's not JUCO kids, and that's not high school freshmen. Ever.
It's not high school kids who are projects.
Yeah. So that's the deal, is to not have a fall off next year, he has to go heavy portal. He might just have to go heavy portal anyway. But okay.
And
whatever.
it might be the way of the future. No one knows.
He might be playing chess to everybody else's checkers right now. I don't know. But point being, it's that traditional thing where the one way in the past, it's a little bit of resetting thinking for fan bases, coaches, everybody. Because in the past, the one way to get over that year 3 fallback is to go, but we signed the number 8 class in the country. We're cool. Mm-hmm. Now we're building.
Look at Jimbo, what he said on Monday.
So when you don't have that, and it's a weird dynamic that Kiffin's in from the standpoint of straight perception for year 3.
Yeah.
In a vacuum.
Yeah. So, I mean.
Also, the schedule's weird next year. They easily could start 6-0 and then have a hard time in the last 6. You got 4 non-cons, Vanderbilt, Kentucky, your first 6 games this year.
Yeah.
And then the West Gauntlet starts. Their last 6 games are literally the SEC West.
Yeah, and the schedule next year, do you have it in front of you?
Yeah. Sure. What do you want to?
It's kind of how it shapes out, specifically. Like if you were to do the just first glance WWL, LL, WWW.
Yeah, pay a couple bills.
All right. While Chase is getting that pulled up, I will tell you that we're also brought to you by Blue Delta Jeans. They're happy to announce the inaugural Coastal Cup Waterfowl Tournament, January the 19th through the 21st at the Bay Flats Lodge on the San Antonio Bay of Texas. It's a competitive team duck hunting event. Will include 2 days of Texas coastal waterfowl hunting, meals, drinks, and lodging. 2 pairs of Blue Delta jeans for every participant. Special guests of the event include Josh Raggio of Raggio Custom Calls and Barton Ramsey of Southern Oak Kennels. To find out more, to register your team, contact Blake Kokenauer at blake@bluedeltajeans.com. It's Blake at bluedeltajeans.com. Also brought to you by Lammons Fine Jewelry. Lammons at 1126 North Lamar Boulevard in Oxford. It's the place to go for engagement rings, wedding rings, fine jewelry, watches, pearls, everything. It's the gold standard in fine jewelry. You can visit them at lammonsfinejewelry.com, or you can call them at 662-234-2777. We'll have hand-raised guys tonight. That's brought to you by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. Different names, but the same great products, the same great services. In Oxford, Tupelo, or the surrounding area, call Comer, 662-801-1777. If you live in Hernando, Memphis, or the surrounding areas, call Southern, 662-429-4429. And mentioning recruiting, Chase is going to be Chase Parham. He works at rebelgrove.com. He's going to be the special guest this week on the Soft Verbal Podcast, which is brought to you by the College Corner. It's your one-stop Rebel Shop. 2 locations in the Jackson area. In Ridgeland, it's next to Fleet Feet. In Flowood, it's next to Half Shell. If you don't live in Jackson, go to collegecornerstore.com. Plus, you can find them on Facebook and Instagram.
Podcast also brought to you, by Visit Oxford, visitoxfordms.com. Go to the events page, everything going on locally this week and every week. Also, remember double-decker bus tours Friday, 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock for that. $100 off a pair of Blue Delta jeans with an adult ticket. Also, tunes around town 5 to 7 o'clock on Friday night. So get some takeout, get some dessert. Check out what should be a pretty good atmosphere around Oxford on Friday night. So again, that's visitoxfordms.com. Podcast also brought to you by Johnston Hill Creamery. I do want to point out that it is a local cheese shop. They make their own cheeses. They have tons of different options there that are all plenty fantastic as far as those cheese options. Everything from about 6, 7 different options, 8 they make every single day. They've got fetas. They've got a lot of different things there. So give it a look. You can go to johnstonhillcreamery.com. You can go to the current menu page, see all their different cheese options, see their specialty boxes, their extra editions, and then obviously the catering and the Thanksgiving pre-orders available as well. So take the time, go to johnstonhillcreamery.com, look around, and when you do that, you can give them a call at 662-419-9201 to place an order. You can email cheese@johnstonhillcreamery.com. Remember, Thanksgiving pickup is on the 24th. You have to order it by the 19th. They're right there off Molly Bar in Oxford on White Oak Lane. So take advantage. Again, Johnston Hill Creamery. Do tons of great stuff. They make themselves there inside. JohnstonHillCreamery.com. Yeah, 2022 season. Troy, Central Arkansas. The toughest non-con game, Georgia Tech in Atlanta next year.
Okay, so far I've got them at 3-0.
Yeah, sure. Tulsa.
4-0.
And Kentucky back in Oxford. Critical game at number 5. But they'll probably win.
Tossy, but I'd lean Ole Miss.
Vanderbilt.
6-0.
Until further knowledge that there's anything at all going on with Vanderbilt.
Yeah, sure.
And now there'll be a hell of a crowd here for one hell of a game, but they got to win it. I feel like it's one of the ones that actually feels the most winnable of this group.
Okay.
Auburn at home. That's an interesting game
It's an interesting game because I don't know what they're going to look like.
And Ole Miss is going to be ranked like 17.
Hey, you want a fun rumor?
Sure.
I don't know anything. Here's a crazy rumor, and I don't know what the vaccination status of Brian Harsin is. There's some people that are out there in the coaching fraternity that are like, hey, man, watch Brian Harsin in Washington. Watch that one. Now, I don't know what Brian Harsin's – Washington obviously is pretty strict about the whole vaccine thing. Did you hear me or were you –
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know what happens there.
Come on.
Listen.
I mean, like, I get it. I get it.
I don't doubt anything from anybody when it comes to craziness. When you hear people saying this could end up being the craziest carousel ever, because all it has to do to turn, I mean, this is not far-fetched. Lincoln Riley goes, yes, screw it, I'm going to go. Oklahoma goes, all right, we're going to hire Heupel. Boom, off you go. I mean, now the thing's out of control. Because where does Tennessee go for a coach at that point? I mean, no one knows. Yeah, even Grind's not. He says, I hear Husky fans want him too. I mean, that's what I hear. He coached in that market up there, not far. I mean, Boise's not, I don't know how far it is from Seattle, but it's a hell of a lot closer than it is to Auburn. And Auburn people don't love Brian Harsin. They're not crazy about him. They're already putting out the hit pieces in the local media.
Do we know that he's not vaccinated, or we know he just won't tell us if he is vaccinated?
I have no clue.
Point being, there's a good point here. Washington is not hiring a coach that's not vaccinated.
I agree.
They're not.
I agree. I don't know whether Brian Harsin's vaccinated or not. I mean, I wasn't there.
I understand. I get it. I just okay. Sorry, I was talking charcuterie. All
right, so we got Auburn. We got Auburn as a toss
at LSU. Who knows?
It beats the hell out of me.
Very difficult game in College Station.
That's an L.
Bye week. Alabama at home.
Loss.
Then the close is what is so interesting here. You go to Fayetteville and then get stayed at home.
If you made me guess right now today, I'd go loss,
win.
Well,
that's 9-3 with an Auburn toss. if you got the toss.
If you got the
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're flooring them at 7-5.
Yeah, and if that's
7-5 to 9-3 is your.
well, there's a big gap though between 7-5 and
hell,
9-3.
But point being,
everybody's thrilled at 9-3.
But you cut it in the middle at 8-4, you're fine.
You're okay. Yeah, you're
8-4
good.
is cool.
Yeah, but
8-4 is cool.
if
But that's getting some tosses. I mean,
But if
Kentucky
you're
could be a loss.
But if you're
LSU
paying,
could be a loss.
absolutely. And if you're paying a coach, this is what they're saying in the thread, and they're right. If you're paying a coach top 10 money, 7-5 is not satisfactory. It might be one time, but it's not every time. You pay a coach top 10 money, you're asking a coach to finish in the top 10. And with the 12-team playoff coming in, you're asking a coach to make the playoff. That's what you're asking.
But you do have to look at the roster. Like, you can't go, oh, well, now since you, like, that doesn't change. You don't automatically get a quarterback because you signed Lane Kiffin to $8 million.
I know.
Like, I mean, I think down the road, yes. But I do think there is a certain part of grace period on, hey, you've got to, I don't think it's you have to automatically make the playoff now. It's that you have to build rosters capable of making the playoff now.
Sure.
And it's a little bit of nuance, but there's a difference.
Yeah, and so what you don't...
If you go 8-4, you go, God, that's not what I paid you for. No, it's what's the direction.
So what you don't
going?
know is, we're going to talk about this on the recruiting podcast. I'll tease it here. What you don't know is their approach to recruiting this season a one-off. Hey, we've got so much coming off the roster. We've got to move people in. This is the way we're doing the rebuild. We're not going to crater and start back. Or is this, hey, we can't get any momentum in the high school recruiting circuit, so we're going to use it all on transfer portal? I don't know that answer. And anybody who tells you they do is lying because they're not talking. So they're not going to tell you whether they're frustrated or not, whether they're viewing this as a lack of success or not. And losing a couple of in-state kids to Mississippi State is just par for the course. Mm-hmm. That happens every year. When State goes all in on a couple of guys, they get them. Every year. So that's just part of the deal. That's not part of my analysis.
But, I mean, they're not even recruiting the offensive lineman that left.
Yeah. No, I mean, he's a project.
That's a different deal.
Well, and he's the kind of kid that, and I don't care what Rivals has him ranked. I don't care what, this is not a knock on Rivals, but I don't know about rankings anymore. I mean, I don't pay a lot of attention to them, frankly. The project kid, not the guaranteed 5-star, not Mark Anderson or the kid at Georgia, or not those kids, but the kid who you look at and you go, man, that kid, he might grow into a really hell of a good player, but he might not. You know what you do with those kids now? Hey, why don't you go to UAB to start out? They got good coaches.
Nothing to do with you.
Head over to Tulsa. Go play in that league for a little bit. And if you're good, we'll get you in the portal. And if you're not, so be it. Peace. Tell your mama thanks for the meatloaf.
The portal just puts some, when it's your emphasis to the level that it's likely the emphasis it is this year, it's just so volatile because you got to get those dudes.
Because everybody else is after those dudes too. And those dudes are not doing the recruiting thing. Those dudes don't care about, hey, we have great tradition and our no. What's my NIL deal going to be? Are you getting me on the field? Can you put me into the league? This is a business deal now. I don't give a damn about the square. Uh-huh. I don't care about the party. Hey, girls, I've been doing this long enough. I can get girls.
Yeah, if I'm a tackle, hey, can I be Larry Tunzel? Yes or no?
Yeah. Okay. What's my situation?
Yeah.
Like,
you're the running back. Do I get the ball?
Yeah, Umano wanted to come someplace where he could put on film that he could play against SEC linemen.
Yeah.
Chance Campbell wanted to play in the SEC. That's what he wanted to do. Mm-hmm. He wanted to put on film. Chance hasn't said this, but I'm just telling you. He wanted to put on film that he could play in the SEC.
Jake Springer.
Wanted to put on film.
Hey, every week I get competition. Let's go do this.
I'm going to put this on film.
Yeah. You only got that a few times at Navy. It's a different scheme. A lot of stuff.
I mean, and every once in a while you'll get a kid that, hey, I want to go someplace and win or whatever, but you'll get kids in the portal that this didn't work out, the coach left or whatever, and they want out. But the portals, everybody's on the portal. So you're like, hey, how come you don't get that big offensive tackle from the portal? Because he has like 50 offers within 10 minutes.
Yeah, the kid at Clemson, the big offensive lineman that's one of the top transfers. He's going to have any number of offers he'd like.
Yeah. And so
Paul, whatever his name is.
And so it's all about connections too. You almost have to be in on the kid before he gets in the portal. So I don't know how it's all going to work out. I mean, if I knew that, I'd
basically kind of like how they were on the Cooks kid.
Yeah.
Got in first.
And even now, they haven't wrapped that deal up. And I don't know whether that's because they haven't wrapped it up or because they haven't officially offered him or because they think they can get better or because the kid wants to shop around. I don't know. He's going to visit UNLV and Georgia Tech.
Mm-hmm. Then we talk about Deion Smith. He hasn't gotten in the portal yet.
Yeah.
He's got to actually do it.
And sources indicate that they're working on that. So
I know. I'm just saying.
You know, I mean, yeah, it's weird. And I think one of the reasons that there's kind of, it's not even outrage, it's frustration, it's change. I mean, look at, like, I get people all the time that are like, hey, man, you guys, y'all don't cover recruiting the way you used to. And it's like, well, recruiting's not the same as it used to be. Nowhere close. Look at the list of kids that came last weekend. It wasn't 22 kids. It was 23 kids. It was 24 kids. Yeah. You're getting ahead on those kids so that you can get those kids to come to your camps and your practices and stuff in the summer so that you can lock them up.
Yeah. Now, in saying that, yes, I don't think Terrence Cooks is picking UNLV over Ole Miss. I don't.
No, I don't either. I don't either. But he's visiting. He didn't say, shut it down. I'm done. And I don't know whether that's because Ole Miss said, hey, we're not quite ready to pull the trigger
or
yet.
If it said, hey, I'm just going to take a free trip to Vegas.
Could be that.
Cool.
I have no idea.
Yeah. I'm going to go to Vegas and Atlanta, and then we'll sign. Okay.
Could be. Yeah, sure.
Yes, they can sign up to 32 as long as that number of players go into the portal, the 7, in addition to the 25, and they can stay under the 85 cap, which is the problem.
Yeah.
They have to get rid of. They have to process.
And there's a numbers thing that kind of works. I'm not sure on this. I need to ask around, but I think there's a numbers conflict in the spring. So let's say you're processing guys, but they haven't found a home yet. Well, their scholarship's good for the spring. So they're on your count. You can't bring in a bunch of guys in January if that puts you over.
Even the kids in the portal.
I think so.
Okay. You see, in other sports, I know like in baseball, that's a strategy because as soon as you enter the portal, you lose your scholarship.
Right.
Because they actually get kids.
But a lot of these kids aren't going to jump into the portal until they've kind of found a home.
Yeah. I mean, that's good. I mean, right. I mean, on its face, that makes all the sense in the world. Since you use the portal to build a team, not build a program.
Well, it depends. Like, let's use Deion Smith for example.
He's got years.
He's got 4 years.
Yeah. If you're looking for the, we'll talk about them soft verbal today. The bye week, by the way, is November 5th. Next year, it's in between A&M and Alabama. Hope people ask that. So,
okay,
yeah, because they have A&M and Alabama back to back, but there's a bye week in the middle. So
that was smart.
It's the exact same weekend as it would have been had they not played Liberty this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I've already seen that because that's the week. I think that's the week that Arkansas plays Liberty.
Next year?
In Fayetteville, yeah.
Oh, Arkansas plays Liberty next year.
Yeah. They play Cincinnati and Liberty.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. Why?
Beats me. I don't know why people schedule those kinds of games. I wouldn't schedule any of those games.
But Cincinnati's not even giving you the Power 5 thing. Who else they play?
I don't know.
Do they have like the hardest schedule in the country next year? What are they doing?
I don't know.
I mean, did Pittman sign off on this?
Questions that I can't answer.
Well, I mean, you're a booster over there. Why not?
I know.
Their schedule is weird. Real quick, Arkansas.
Okay.
They open with Cincinnati at home.
Mm-hmm.
South Carolina, Missouri State, A&M, Alabama back-to-back. No bye. State, BYU.
BYU counts as their.
It does.
Yeah.
Auburn, Liberty, LSU, Ole Miss, Missouri.
Why would you play Cincy, BYU, and Liberty in the same year? It's dumb.
Now, I will give them the same benefit I'll give Keith Carter, too. When you scheduled Liberty, they were an FCS team that sucked.
And Arkansas will be better than Liberty next
they'll
year.
win the game.
Because Arkansas would beat Liberty this year with Malik.
Yeah, and Malik's piece.
He's out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sayonara.
Thanks you.
Yeah.
But still, it's kind of a weird schedule. Even BYU and Cincinnati in the same year doesn't make sense.
No.
You don't have to do that.
I mean,
Why are you doing
I wouldn't
it?
play either one of them if I were them.
Well, you got to play a Power 5.
Well, then I'd play one. I'd tell Cincinnati, peace.
Yeah, you don't count.
Yeah.
You're not in the Big 12 yet.
I mean, I might play Cincinnati Tech, but not Cincinnati.
That is an interesting thing that multiple teams get A&M and Bama back-to-back.
Mm-hmm.
We'll quirk there.
Look, I'd hate to be the person that has to make the schedule, but
Yeah, just a little quirk. That's all. Kind of like Alabama and LSU used to get bye weeks, so they played each other every year. It's like, well, okay, that was convenient.
But to Grind's point, I mean, I don't know. On the surface, using the portal as a way to build your program feels flawed. But you go back and listen to Kiffin. Kiffin does, to his credit, always sort of telegraph things.
Mm-hmm.
He talks about this is now an NFL style.
However, you got to put it together.
Where you use the draft and you use free agency and you use the waiver wire and you put it together year by year.
Oh, man, they added the kid from Western Kentucky that I'm still not really sure why he's on the roster, the quarterback.
Yeah, and I don't think he ate a scholarship. I just think maybe he wants to get into coaching. That's the only thing I can think of.
Okay. That makes sense.
Maybe he wanted to
New
get
Durkin and
yeah, and
let me hang out.
let me learn from Levy and Kiffin for a year.
Yeah, maybe so.
Beats me.
Podcast brought to you in part by Northeast Spark, NESPARC. Service people across rural communities. 2 packages, the 100 Mbps or the Blaze, the 1 gig that powers the Clark Ford studio. Your hometown team bringing you world-class broadband. That's nespark.com, 662-238-3159. Phone services available, parental controls, network security, a wireless mesh extender, and much more. So, again, call the office for details, 662-238-3159.
See if I can read this without readers. Dead Soxy's bringing back the score sale for this week's game against Vanderbilt. The Liberty game didn't work out from a score standpoint, but there's confidence in the Rebels scoring against the Commodores. So at the conclusion of Saturday's game, however many points the Rebels have scored, Dead Soxy will match that number as a percentage discount up to a max of 60% off. The score sale will run from the conclusion of the game until midnight on Monday, November the 22nd. So load up on your favorite stocking stuffers and score this incredible offer. Visit deadsoxy.com. Use the promo code SCOREREBELS. That's one word, SCOREREBELS, all lowercase, at checkout to receive the score sale percentage for all orders. And as always, stay Soxy. So don't forget that. We'll remind you of that on Saturday night as well. We'll have a Mind on My Money brought to you by Pinnacle a little later this morning, later today. Again, that's brought to you obviously by Pinnacle. Pinnacle is they provide detailed, specialized investment management, financial planning, retirement planning for individuals and businesses, and much more. It's mypinwealth.com. Our pal John Edwards of Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis is the guy you should go to if you're planning to make a trip. You want one that's a special trip that creates a lifetime of unique memories. Go to John, give him some parameters, give him a budget. He'll give you options. And no, you don't have to live in or near Memphis to take advantage of his services. 901-494-3387 or jedwards@regencytravel.net. We're also brought to you by Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, Grenada Nissan's the place to go. They have a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles, great lease deals as well. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com. We haven't even gotten to picks yet, but they're up at rebelgrove.com. Week 12 of the picks, they're brought to you by Service Specialist with offices in Ridgeland, Canton, Jackson, and Oxford. Service Specialist has been connecting candidates and employers since 1967 as the oldest staffing company in Mississippi. So whether you're a new college grad or a seasoned professional, whether you are looking to hire quality talent for your company, whether you are looking for a new job, looking to relocate to Mississippi, but you have some confidentiality concerns, whatever the case may be, if you check any of those boxes, you need to go to servicespecialistltd.com or call 662-832-5138.
Podcast is brought to you by G&M Pharmacy and Tyson Drugs. G&M there on South Lamar and Oxford. Tyson Drugs on the Square in Holly Springs. Remember, they deliver locally in the Oxford area and they offer medicine for your prescriptions the same day each month and take care of you. Whether it's one trip to the pharmacy or one delivery, get what you need with G&M and Tyson Drugs. Also, with Right Way Meds, they'll individually package your medication for those who need that extra step. So 662-236-2222. Looking kind of what's around. Dang on, the Big 12 reprimanded Texas Tech announcers.
They must have said something bad. They must have said something about Alabama.
The Big 12 on Wednesday issued a public reprimand of Texas Tech football announcers for their call of Saturday's 41-38 win over Iowa State. Play-by-play host Brian Jensen and analyst John Harris were critical of the officials during the game, going so far as to list off individual names. As a result, the league also said Jensen and Harris will be removed from calling this weekend's home game against Oklahoma State. Hold on a minute. So a private
I know, I saw this.
Radio announcement. Here's what's bothering me about this. And it was my frustration when I jumped on the NCAA for its stupid – we didn't really talk about this. The NCAA's stupid remarks back at Oklahoma State where they're reprimanding Oklahoma State and basically saying, hey, where are you guys? We're all part of the same thing. You can't do that. You can't talk about the members of the committee individually. They're public. You can go through right now and find out who all the officials for a football game is. You can go online to the NCAA and all those infraction reports and see exactly who's on the committee. So what the hell difference does it make if somebody says it out loud when it's available all over the internet?
Well, here's the part that I was surprised by. So if David Kellum goes off on the officials, he could get suspended by the SEC?
I mean,
really? I didn't know that they did.
Under what purview does the league get that right?
I know.
I understand the roles of play-by-play and color analyst. Big 12 Commissioner Bob Bowlesby sent a statement. Bob, you don't know shit about anything hardly right now. However, as university representatives, they have an obligation to adhere to conference policy regarding comments about game officials. The comments by the Red Raider Radio Network booth announcers were contrary to expected levels of respect and professionalism, questioning the integrity of conference officials and specifically calling members of the officiating crew as well beyond appropriate and permissible behavior. I will never, and I really want to talk to Brad about this when the season's over, because he's agreed to come on and talk officiating.
Okay.
I don't understand the level of protection that they get where they never respond to anything. And I get the NFL allows pool reporters and they do things and it's much better. But it boggles my freaking mind. They're humans too. Nobody's saying that they necessarily did anything on purpose. Just answer questions about why you did things.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that above some precious rule?
I don't know.
Nobody has a good, clear answer for it, ever. Well, you just can't. Why?
Yeah, it's officials. It's readily available. It's not like you're naming the jurors in a court case. You're not doxing anyone.
I'll say it right now. The Big 12 does not want Iowa State to lose this game, Harris said. Yeah, Bob Bowlesby, you need to answer to this. This is ridiculous. The inconsistency of this referee crew in favor of Iowa State, unbelievable.
That's it?
That got them suspended.
Did they name names? Because if that's all, that's egregious.
The Big 12 should be embarrassed. The Big 12 should be embarrassed with this group. We've only pointed out two guys. I'm going to read them all to you. He then proceeded to name every on air every member of the crew.
But again, that's readily available information.
On the thing.
Yeah.
Jensen also tweeted during the game about a call asking why there was no review on a play that was rules. It was ruled an interception despite blah, 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 blah. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's it. That's all I said. We're a little sensitive in the Big 12 office right now. A little sensitive.
Yeah.
A little sensitive.
Different league. It's like Matt Campbell yesterday, and I like Matt Campbell a lot.
Dude.
But Matt Campbell's like, listen.
He did the we do men thing yesterday.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, man, don't take the LSU job and say that out loud, champ. Is your goal to win conference championships?
Mel Tucker is getting paid $9.5 million, and it's not because his graduation rate went up this year.
It's because you're winning. When you do the whole, look, our goal as a team is to be the best version of ourselves. Come on, man. No, that's not it. Nope.
Your goal is to be the best version of Oklahoma.
I mean, that's admirable. Okay, yeah. It is.
That's important in the process.
But
that's down list.
But no offense, that's not getting it done when you get beat. Now, you can say that after you win the Big 12, right? You can win the conference championship and say, listen, that's not what we all are about. We're about being the best version of ourselves. That's what we do. Every week we try to make sure we get better. And it works because look at us. We're 14-0. You can do that. You can do the Hugh Freeze. Remember Hugh Freeze did it at the Sugar Bowl and everybody was like, oh, this is great.
Yeah, because you're at the Sugar Bowl.
He's at the Sugar Bowl. He's
not in Birmingham going, I tell you what, it's a hell of a year.
Yeah. No, he made it to the Sugar Bowl and he goes, we recruit a different kind of kid. See where I pulled him off to the side in there. I'm like, so when you say that, like, what do you mean? And he didn't really want to go there. I mean, are you saying you recruit more religious kids? Like, what are you saying? I mean, what does that mean? And he didn't appreciate the line of questioning. But it was like, what does that mean? Because it's utter BS.
Because the only extra thing you can say is, well, guys that just fit our program.
And then at that point, what does that mean? What specifically? How does specifically
we have a value system.
One guy? Okay, can you extrapolate on that?
No, I want to go away right now.
Yeah.
I want to get away.
I want you to stop asking me questions. Where's Chuck?
Yeah.
But when you say that stuff, man, I mean, you're a coach. No, Matt. No. No.
Why did he do it?
See, I think you can do that like at middle school, high school even.
Why did he do it? He's not an idiot. Why did he do it?
I'm guessing he's leaving. He knows he's leaving, and he didn't want to say, you can't win the Big 12 here. Just can't happen. Not enough resources. Can't do it. I don't want to rip the kids, and so I'm going to say, nope, that's not what we're about. Because I got a group of kids that play really hard every week. But every week that we go to Oklahoma or we play Texas or we play Baylor even.
And this is about as good as we can get because I got 20 starters back.
Yeah, I mean, this is, yeah.
What we are is what we are.
I'm not going to sit here and tell this group of seniors who have busted their ass for me and helped me get in position to get a job like the LSU job. I'm not going to tell them that this was a failure. But it was a failure.
Yeah. Last little tidbit.
But someone has to follow up with that and go, okay, so wait, your goal's not to win the championship? That's not your goal?
Well, we work hard every day to win, but that's not what this program's about.
But the success or failure is not based on winning?
Yeah.
What is it based on? Is that in your how does that work? Because I've yet to see an AD go, you know what? This team went 3-9, 1-7 in the league. But I got to tell you, they're graduating.
APR is fantastic.
They're good kids. Billy over there.
He got an internship this summer.
He's got a girlfriend, never hit her. He's got an internship this summer with Exxon. Hey, we love these kids. In fact, like we had a team dinner the other night, and they all used their salad fork. Every one of them for the salad. Amazing. These are good kids. They call their mamas.
Yeah.
These are good kids. This program is headed in the right direction because we're shaping men.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen. Well, that coach gets canned.
Interesting thing here. United States bookmakers facing more than $1 million loss on a bet that was placed in March and we decided tonight. On March 19th, the bettor in Nevada placed a $30,000 bet on Shohei Ohtani to win the American League MVP award at 30-1 with a William Hill Sportsbook. Ohtani is a finalist along with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Simeon. If Ohtani wins, the bettor will net $900,000 and William Hill will have suffered an overall seven-figure loss on an awards market that typically doesn't attract a ton of money. It's going to be the biggest loss on that type of market ever, Alan Pullen said from William Hill. It's going to stick out as a line item when you see award betting in a big minus. Ohtani opened at 60-1 in February, attracted immediate betting interest. There were more bets on Ohtani than any other player at most sports books, and it didn't take long for the Angels' two-way star to emerge as the favorite by late June, blah, 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 blah. But anyway.
Shohei?
Yeah.
You wrecked a sports book.
Wrecked the sports book.
Good job. Look at Shohei. He looks happy, doesn't he? Look at him.
Blum said the Superbook is facing a low five-figure liability on Ohtani winning MVP, primarily due to some early interest from sharp bettors that grabbed him early at 30-1. Blum added that he wouldn't change anything to the way he booked the AL MVP market, though. We just never expected him to be that type of hitter, Blum said. Poland also was comfortable with how they booked the market despite the massive liability on Ohtani. We don't want to lose, but you got to applaud the bettor's moxie for putting that big of a bet on it. It's definitely be a first, and we will move on and be open the next day.
Yeah, all you can do.
It is what it is.
You got to own it.
I mean, they built these things with cash. They'll occasionally lose a little cash.
They're going
to be all right.
Yeah, you're going to have a bad day. You'll bounce back.
Yeah, they're not firing everybody over this today.
Some moron's going to put $10,000 on the Steelers to win the Super Bowl. I mean, you're going to get free money.
Well, yeah, futures are where you make your money because they almost all lose. So that and parlays.
Yeah.
Won't anybody do a parlay? So
parlays are fun.
They are fun.
Yeah, I mean, you put $20 on a 17 parlay that if you win, you're like $36,000, and you never win.
Yeah. Back tonight, hand raised guys around 7 o'clock. Again, Ole Miss basketball, 6 p.m. for that start time against Marquette.
A couple of real quick things before you wrap. Don't forget about Alpha Specialties. If you're in the market, if you're in the trailer market at all, it's the premier trailer specific professional in Mississippi. Load Trail, Hallmark Cargo Trailers, they got all of that. It's alphaofms.com, 601-932-9798. Don't forget about the Rogue. If you are looking for the Collegiate Collection, go to therogue.com or 4450 I-55 North in Jackson. All the best items from Peter Millar, Martin Dingman, Jack Victor, and so many more brands. Don't forget, tomorrow's the last day to sign up for Oxford Park Commission basketball. It's oxfordparkcommission.com. Leagues 7 to 15. The cost is just $50 per participant. The league runs January 3rd through February the 24th, but you have to sign up by the end of the day tomorrow.
So we'll be back tonight with that. Hope all of you have a wonderful afternoon, and we will talk to you around 7 o'clock for hand raise, guys. Take care.